I mean, the only time I go out to eat is when I want something that tastes good. I'm not going out to eat to like
that is true.
Try to get it ripped.
Yeah, you're not going to go to Makayo's and be like, I want just grilled chicken. No, you're getting a chimichanga, bro.
Sometimes I do. It depends on where I'm at and what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Or how many times I've gone out to eat recently.
Yeah.
Like if Lily's dad's in town and we're going out to eat like way too fucking much, then I'm trying to pick like chicken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome to the podcast. This is a podcast with two esteemed academics.
Yes, quite so.
We've been studying our whole lives about how to get by.
Yeah.
How to get by in life.
How to get the most out of life with the least amount of effort.
That. Yeah. It's like a pulley system.
Exactly.
It's like, what do I set up here to get more output here?
Exactly. Yep. There's the pulley system right there.
Is steroids. Okay.
Yes, clearly.
If you do steroids, life gets better.
It's just common sense.
Not medical advice.
Come on, guys.
It's a performance enhancing drug.
We are not trained professionals.
So obviously it enhances your academic performance, your hair growth performance in the negative direction usually.
Dude, me and Jake were talking about that today, and he was saying, because I was talking about how like my hair's starting to go away, and I was like, dude, the second that I decide to go bald, I'm going to go on TRT.
Yeah. That's smart.
I think that's a good way to go about it, because I feel like I'm not going to be like really bald until somewhere in my late 30s to somewhere in the 40s.
Yeah.
You know?
And once it's gone.
And at that point, like a lot of guys in their 40s, their mid 40s will take TRT because their testosterone's dropped.
Yeah. Like a lot of things nowadays, because when you turn, I don't know, it's somewhere in your 30s or maybe it's even your late 20s. Your testosterone starts to drop by like a very small percentage each year.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to like 70, it's
it's really low.
But I mean, that's kind of nature. Like you're built that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're supposed to be that way.
But nowadays, TRT has become a lot more popular, I would say. And people are getting on it just because.
Yep.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. It can definitely like improve like your energy levels and your focus. Like testosterone has something to do with your dopamine and your drive to get things done.
Yeah.
So it's really popular with like CEOs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are like workhorses and they like to work out. Like Jeff Bezos takes it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Elon Musk does, but I think Mark Zuckerberg does.
Yeah. That guy that I talk about sometimes, I forget his name. The guy that like always has like health advices, and he's like more
plates, more dates.
No. God dang it, I can't remember his name. I always forget his name when I come here. It's the guy that's been on Joe Rogan's podcast. It's like Anderson.
Oh, Andrew Huberman.
Yeah, thank you. That guy, I think he's on TRT too.
He is.
And I mean, Joe Rogan, freaking obviously. Dude,
so is Bert Kreischer, and Bert Kreischer has been getting so jacked.
You see his shoulders? He like loves to show off his shoulder. I'm like, good for you,
like he's
man.
Still kind of fat, but he's leaned out a lot.
Yeah, well, he shows like he works out every day and posts it on Instagram, so it's pretty cool.
He's crushing it.
That's awesome.
And the thing with him is, he says he does TRT, but he does, I think, 200 milligrams or 220 milligrams.
I think he said 300 when I saw
300.
Yeah.
God damn, that's not too...
Yeah, so what...
You might be right, because
I saw this with, like, it was on Bradley Martin's Instagram, and they were talking about it.
Okay.
And he said, like, I remember specifically the number 300, and they were talking about TRT. Was it the same thing? I can't be 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure he said 300.
It could be 300. I know it's at least 200.
Yeah.
But that's not TRT.
Yeah, maybe not.
Like, so... That's the funny thing is that basically it's like what you would consider like a steroid cycle.
Yeah.
Or however you want to put it, but it's definitely not what a doctor would give you for TRT.
Yeah.
So like when I was younger, I took a bunch of steroids, fucked myself up.
Yeah.
Got off of them for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I felt like ass. And I went to the doctor to get my testosterone tested because I was like, I have no sex drive. I have no energy. I can't like do shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
After 3 years of being completely off everything. and my levels were like 290. I got like 3 tests. One was 310, then the other one was like 290, and the other one was like 300.
Yeah.
And the normal range is 400 to 1200 nanograms per deciliter.
Okay.
So I was like well under the normal range.
Yeah.
And
at
so
least by 100.
I got on like legit TRT. I take 140 milligrams a week, and that's like a strong dose.
Yeah.
Like that's like the higher end of what a doctor
I
would
wouldn't
give
be
you.
taking that much probably.
No, you probably would.
You think so?
Yeah, you probably do 120, 140.
Okay.
I mean, if you were to do it.
Dude, I would say the one thing that scares me about taking any sort of like steroid like that is the unknown factor of some sort of apocalypse. And I know that's unlikely, but you know, shit hits the fan. You don't have any more
that's a
steroids,
thing, dude.
You know what I mean? And then that'll fuck your body up just going cold turkey.
I've thought about that with like all the medications I take. I'm like, shit, dude, if there's an apocalypse,
it's scary.
That's
a scary thing to think about. I mean, you probably won't die, but man,
but you're going to be fucked up.
It'd be fucked up.
Dude, if
for
there's
a
ever
while.
an apocalypse, first thing I'm doing is rushing a pharmacy. I'm getting all the meds I need, dude.
Oh man.
Hopefully a lifetime supply.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to try to like, you know what? I don't know any steroid dealers now because I haven't gotten anything illegally in a long time. But I'd probably be a good friend to make because then if the
you'd be the dealer.
Apocalypse happens. No, then you go rob him.
Oh.
You can pay him if you want. I don't care.
Well, I'm saying you become the
apocalypse.
dealer because you robbed him.
No, I'm keeping it for myself so that I can have normal testosterone for my whole life. You know?
You're like, I'm set.
Yeah.
Just carrying them.
Yeah, if I could just have like a box.
Man, so like with one vial, how long does that last you?
So it depends. If you get like underground stuff from like a dealer, maybe from the pharmacy, I don't know, but for sure from a dealer, usually the bottle's gonna have 10 milliliters. So like, you know, a 3cc syringe, 1cc 10 times. You know what I mean? So it's got 10 cc's.
Okay.
In the bottle.
So is that 10 injections normally? How many cc's do you usually inject?
So it depends how much is in the bottle. So usually the underground lab, it's 250 milligrams per milliliter. So for 1cc, it's 250 milligrams.
Okay.
So I would take like 0.5 or 0.6. So like half or a little bit more than half. So it would last like 20 weeks.
20 weeks. Okay. So that's
but if you go
fair amount.
through a doctor, usually they give you 1 milliliter vials and you'll get like 4 or 5 of them at a time.
Okay.
And that lasts like 8 to 10 weeks.
So, okay. Another question is how do you like properly cycle off of TRT? Like if you did TRT for a while and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore and I want to like cycle off of it, how would you like do that?
So I'll have to do that eventually, like when I want to have kids. So when I want to have kids, what I'm going to do is basically you stop taking it. And then after probably the first month or so, you would start taking clomiphene.
Is it like estrogen?
No, so clomiphene, it signals to your pituitary gland to signal to your gonads that it needs to produce testosterone again.
Okay.
And then there's also something called HCG. And that's another thing you take. So the clomid's like a pill. HCG is like in your stomach injections. And both of those things just like signal to your body to like start producing it again.
Okay. Kind of kicks your body into overdrive and like, hey, you need to start doing this shit again.
Yeah. Because it could come back naturally. Like if you just did nothing.
Yeah.
It could eventually come back.
Okay.
And mine like did, but it didn't come back strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's why it was so low.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if I never took steroids, that it probably never would have been that low.
Yeah.
You know?
But you think it affected it pretty harsh?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've had buddies that have cycled off and like on cold turkey, and they said like it took 8 months to a year.
Yeah.
But after that, they were back to normal.
Yeah. It takes a long time.
It does take a long time,
but
though.
if you take those drugs, it can be a little quicker. So yeah, when I have kids, because I feel good on testosterone, like it allows me to do everything I want to do. You know, I just feel normal.
Yeah.
I don't feel like superhuman or anything.
Yeah.
I feel better than when I felt like shit.
That's true.
With like no testosterone. But my goal would be like get Lily pregnant as quick as possible
Mm-hmm.
and then go back on.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know. It just makes you feel like shit if your levels are low.
So, okay, here's another thing. Would you advise someone to go on a cycle just to break through a plateau and then cycle off
No.
or something like that? No?
No, because anytime you take steroids, especially if it's like a real cycle, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're pretty much going to gain the muscle that those steroids are allowing you to gain.
Yeah.
And then once you come off, your body's going to go back to normal.
Yeah.
Like you might keep a tiny amount of that muscle,
Mm-hmm.
but almost none of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe it might work. So like if you're on a baseline of testosterone,
Mhm.
always like low dose,
Yeah.
and then you add some stuff to like gain some more muscle.
Yeah.
If you come off the other stuff and stay on the TRT, then you're
Mhm.
probably going to maintain more
Yeah.
than if you were to like do a cycle
Yeah.
and then go completely off everything.
But then if you went off that TRT after that cycle, then you'd probably drop a lot.
Yeah, you would just like lose everything.
Yeah.
Like, most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
Yeah, it's crazy.
man. Yeah, I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, man. Like I do want to do it. I know I want to. And I know there's people in my life that don't want me to do it, but they don't understand it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like I get where they're coming from. They don't want me to hurt myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that and I appreciate that because it's people that care about me.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it until you have as many kids as you want to have.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like, it's kind of rare, but there's a chance that like you would be completely infertile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like there's a chance I could never have kids.
Which clearly I'm not in that
Yeah.
category yet.
You're
at
having a kid
least.
now. So you want to have as many kids as you want to have.
Mhm.
And then, I don't know, because you can do a lot naturally. Like,
Yeah.
you know, TRT, if you just do TRT,
Yeah.
like you don't do a bunch of steroids and gain a bunch of muscle, and then,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it'll help you build a little more muscle than you can naturally,
Yeah.
but it's not like a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it might be like 10 pounds of muscle, which is a pretty big difference,
Yeah.
but it's not like going to take you from skinny twig to like jacked.
But if you look at the charts like over years, it probably will produce a lot more over the years than you will
Probably, yeah.
naturally.
Yeah, like probably gain like 1 extra pound per year.
Mhm.
And then 15 years down
Which,
the line,
I
you look
mean,
a lot different.
That sounds like it's not that much, but like
But it
solid
is.
muscle, like gaining a pound of solid muscle a year, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It probably would. Yeah, over time. Because it's like the difference between your testosterone always being at the optimal level
Mm-hmm.
or it like ebbing and flowing.
Yeah, which
You
is
know
what
what I
your
mean?
body normally does.
Yeah, because testosterone, like, it's funny because people in like YouTube comments all the time, I think they're just dumb gym bros who like
Mhm.
don't actually know what they're talking about. And maybe they've
Yeah.
done a few cycles.
Yeah, and they think they know
They
now.
think they know everything.
Yeah.
Like people, like big YouTubers, like, you know, Joe Aesthetics,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or Greg Doucette,
Mm-hmm.
they've said they were just on TRT.
Yeah.
And people will go in the comments and be like, there's no way you can look like that on TRT.
Yeah.
And it's like, first of all, they have really good genetics.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, yeah, you can because they're doing it. They're probably not lying, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to a lot of like genetics.
Yeah. Genetics are a huge thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you put me against you on lifting, like genetics wise, even if I was like as strict as you were, I don't think I would ever naturally be as big as you can naturally be.
I don't know. Maybe. I think, yeah.
I might be
probably.
able to get close.
I think
but
you'd
I
be
don't
pretty
think so.
close. I think you'd be pretty close.
I don't know, man. You got good
I
arm
do
genetics.
have,
I
like-
don't have that.
I do have very good shape
Yeah.
genetics.
Yeah.
But I do think like you don't have terrible genetics.
I don't have
Like
terrible
when
genetics.
you're consistent, I see your arms get bigger like
I
quick.
know. I know.
And your
dude.
shoulders get bigger quick.
The thing that's been bothering me so much lately is that I've had so many things happening in my life that
Yeah.
I've been losing a lot of motivation for the gym. And I'm still trying my best to like go and like even after work, I'll have like a long day of work and I'll be like, no, I'm going to the gym even though I'm tired as shit. And I'll do like a half-ass workout, but I'll be like, at least I fucking did something.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
A lot of people just give up completely and I'm like, dude,
It's hard not to, man. It's really hard not to when you get busy and like you have no motivation, but like you have to have that discipline of like telling yourself, don't be lazy, don't like, this is the goal that you want
yeah.
and you know you need to work towards it. So you know you need to get your ass in the gym.
Yeah, I think you have to
My huge thing is dieting.
Learn
I'm so
discipline.
bad with dieting.
Everyone's bad with dieting.
Yeah,
like,
that's really the hard thing in my opinion. Like if you could get yourself in the gym every day, that's great, but you're not going to get anywhere if you don't diet right.
Yeah.
You know.
I know. I work with a lot of people that they're pretty good at going to the gym very consistently, but like the diet is just so hard to like nail down. And then there's people that suck at both. Yeah. And I'm like, damn. Like, you're lazy as fuck.
And there's, I mean, that's how I was. Like, it took me 5 years ago. I was so lazy about going to the gym and shit.
Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know. With anything in life, if you really want it, you can get it. Yeah. It just comes down to priorities. And like, you know, if you really wanted to be consistent with diet, you would figure out a way to make sure it happens. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of easy ways to get protein in, like even if it was extra protein shakes. Yeah. Like there's ways to cook food in bulk and just, you don't have trouble eating the same thing all the time. You know, you're not like one of these prissy people that are like, I need variety. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's, I mean, one of my main goals when I do move out, and it's hard when you have roommates to like stick to meal plans and stuff. In my opinion, it's hard because they cook all the time. I'm trying to cook, and that's not the hardest part, but it's more of like there's no room in the fridge for the stuff that I want to put in there, you know? So that's where it kind of comes down to for like meal prep. I can't really meal prep. So when I do move out, that's going to be a main priority for me, is like not like full on meal prepping, but like I want to make sure I have a lunch or 2 lunches of chicken and rice, you know, or whatever it is, like a day.
It'd be really good if you could get Layel to be into it too.
Yeah. But she's super into cooking, so I could get her to like do stuff like that. And she's not like opposed to it. She's just not like headstrong, you know.
She just hasn't found the passion for it yet. And if you can get her to find that passion, it makes it so much easier when, you know, the 2 adults you live with are both like on the same track. You both eat the same way. Yeah. Because like me and Lily were both kind of into it. She finally like figured out she loves it a couple years ago. Yep. And so like she never begs me to like eat shit with her. You know what I mean? She's not like, let's go out to eat. Yeah. Like sometimes we'll go out to eat like, you know, every couple months. Like she's like, oh, I want to go out to eat like in a few weeks, and we'll, you know, we'll have that one meal. Yeah. But she's not like every, you know, 3 days a week. Yeah. Like, let's go get pizza and let's eat carbs and fats. And
yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I'm kind of dealing with right now, is because Layel's appetite is so shit because she's pregnant. So it's like she doesn't eat ever. And then any chance I can get her to eat something, if she's like, for some reason I want Jack in the Box right now, I'm leaving the house and going to get Jack in the Box, you know, because I just want her to eat. That's just so where funny. I'm at right now.
That's so funny that you think that way, because me and Lily were talking about this the other day about children. And their parents, dude, like the kids will be like, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat that. You know what I mean?
And the kids are different.
The kids will be like, I don't want to eat that. And the parents like give them a cookie or like whatever they actually want. They're craving, you know what I mean? And like, I don't want the kid to starve. I'm like, you don't starve in a day. You don't even starve in a week.
No, we don't do that with Aiden. You know what I mean? Aiden tries to do that because he sees me do that with his mom. Yeah. You know, and he thinks he can get away with it. And I'm like, no, dude, like he'll ask for something and then be like, I didn't want that. I'm like, you asked for this. So this is what you're going to have for dinner, or you're going to go to bed hungry. That's your 2 options.
They ask for shit and then they don't eat it.
Yeah. That's kids, dude. That's kids. They push as far as they can push.
That's crazy.
That's how it goes.
I'm going to write a parenting book.
And it like you just have to understand the child, because some people will be like, oh, he didn't say that or whatever. Or like, oh, he really doesn't like this or something. I'll make him something new. And they get convinced by the kid. It's like, no, your kid's tricking you. Yeah. You know, you always got to understand that.
They just want something that tastes good, like ice cream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like his thing is Takis. He loves Takis. He's like, oh, I don't want a slice of pizza, but I'll have Takis. I'm like, no, eat your pizza and then you can have the Takis, man.
I'm like, parents, they feed kids differently than they eat. Yeah. Even if they eat healthy, which I don't know. Maybe I think a lot of people that eat healthy do feed their kids more healthy too. But it's like people go on, you know, diets, they learn about macros and stuff, and they'll try to get in shape, and then they're still feeding their kids shit. And I'm like, why do you think he needs McDonald's and you need chicken?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, he needs the same things you do.
Yeah.
He can probably handle a little more calories because he's growing or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you're teaching him these habits
Mm-hmm.
of just giving into every craving.
Yeah.
And not eating food because like of what it can do for your body.
Yeah.
And these kids are going to grow up to be obese because they learn these habits. They just give into every habit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And obviously, like, I mean, with kids, it's give and take, you know, because you're gonna have situations where you're out and your kid's starving and the only thing that's there is McDonald's. So okay, we're gonna get McDonald's right now or whatever. But I mean, when you're home, you should be cooking as much as you can, you know, and trying to make proper meals for your kid to grow.
That's what I'm saying. Or even like people do make the proper meal and then the kid's like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I want ice cream.
No, we don't give into that
and
stuff.
they're like,
man.
oh, he can't go to bed hungry. He'll starve. I'm like, he's not going to die.
No, we don't do that.
He'll wake up tomorrow and be hungry and he'll eat that damn chicken.
Yeah, exactly. I've told him before, like, I'll leave his food on the plate on the table and I'd be like, you can come back. You can go play if you want, but this is what you're eating. If you don't eat this, you don't eat anything for the rest of the day. This is what you're eating first, you know? And then he'll like come back and he'll eat it.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy getting older. Like, I can't even believe we're 29 already.
That's wild. We're going to be 30.
And like, you're having a kid and I'm like thinking about it more. Like, do I want one or not? Because I probably only have 5 to 8 more years.
You're at that time, yeah.
For like Lily. I mean, I can have a kid whenever I want. But Lily can't. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I guess if I decide at 50 that I want a kid, I'm going to get me some hot 30-year-old chick.
Dude, yeah.
And then I'll have a baby.
Dude, the other thing is, it's so funny, man. Like the things, he is a picky eater. For sure. There's certain things he actually does not like.
You sent me a picture of that kid. I knew he was picky.
Yeah.
And a tattletale.
Dude. Yeah. And I'm fucking, like, me and Lael both are on team, like, nip that in the ass, dude.
Nip it in the ass.
Yeah. Not in the bud.
Nip it in the butt.
Nip it in the butt. Oh, man. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you completely changes subject, but I don't think I've ever asked you if you like sushi.
It's okay. I don't know how much I've actually tried. I've tried like rolls. I like a lot of rolls.
Yeah, I stick with the rolls too.
Yeah, but I haven't tried a lot of like sushimi, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it's just like
nigiri.
Pure.
Or yeah.
Fish.
So you got like sushimi, which is just the slices of fish.
Right.
And then nigiri is like just a slice of fish on a piece of rice.
Yeah, like that's probably good because that's just like a roll kind of.
It's, yeah.
Well,
it depends.
less ingredients.
You can get like healthy rolls.
Yeah.
Which boggles my mind when people are like, yeah, I eat healthy. I go and eat sushi a lot. And they eat the deep fried sushi. It's like, that's not fucking healthy, dude. You're eating the Vegas roll, which has cream cheese in it.
Most of the rolls
fried.
Are not healthy.
There's like
majority of the rolls, because they have.
If they have the crab in them, they're probably not healthy because there's a lot of mayonnaise in that artificial crab.
Because the crab is like not even protein. It probably has a tiny bit of protein.
Crab, yeah. Like California rolls, you're not getting anything out of that. You're getting carbs, maybe.
Like a tuna roll, and even the spicy tuna rolls, like the amount of tuna versus the amount of
you're not getting
carbs.
As much protein as you need for sure. It's not healthy.
If you had sashimi, it's probably healthy.
And you're probably getting a lot more protein with it if you're doing like sushi or like salmon sashimi or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
and by the way, if you ever hear me say healthy, what I mean is it doesn't lead to you having a lean body. I'm not thinking of like micronutrients and shit. I'm like, is that going to make you ripped or fat?
Yeah.
When I say healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. With sushi, it's like, you'll mostly get your carbs in, but you're not going to get your proteins in.
Yeah.
You'll get a little bit of protein, but you're not going to hit your fucking goal.
Sashimi.
Yeah.
Oh, Vegas rolls are good though.
They are so good.
Dude, fried cream cheese with rice.
Oh my God. I understand why people get them. Yeah. I'm not saying don't get them. They taste delicious, but moderation, guys. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, the only time I go out to eat is when I want something that tastes good. I'm not going out to eat to like.
That is true.
Try to get it ripped.
Yeah, you're not going to go to Makayo's and be like, I want just grilled chicken. No, you're getting a chimichanga, bro.
Sometimes I do. It depends on where I'm at and what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Or how many times I've gone out to eat recently.
Yeah.
Like if Lily's dad's in town and we're going out to eat like way too fucking much,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm trying to pick like chicken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it's like my once every 2 months that we go out, then I'm just going to get whatever I want.
Yeah. Mostly like when we go out to eat, I always try to choose something with chicken in it. So at least I'll get some protein.
Yeah.
I might, obviously it's going to be probably smothered in fucking stuff that's going to be fats and bad stuff for you, a lot of calories, but at least I'm getting protein in, you know?
So this is my biggest tip that I give to people that I work with. If they want to go out to eat, first of all, limit it as much as possible.
Okay.
But if you're going to go out to eat and you know it's that you're going on a certain day or whatever, let's say it's dinner. I feel like most of the time it's going to be dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can look up the restaurant in advance and see if it's in MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
And if it is, then you can pick what you want and like it'll give you the macros and you can work backwards. Like what can you eat before you go to dinner?
Yeah.
But if it's not in MyFitnessPal and you can't figure out the macros in advance, then my favorite strategy is you eat like 80% of your protein for the day or more. And then you eat like half your carbs and fats or less.
Yeah.
So you're eating like mostly just protein in the morning for like breakfast and lunch. And you could even just have one meal before or whatever. So let's say you're getting 200 protein for the day, 200 carbs and 50 fat just to make up numbers.
Yeah.
You would eat like 180 protein before you go to dinner.
Yeah.
So that way your dinner only has to have 20 grams and it probably will.
Yep.
And then you only 100 grams of carbs and only 25 grams of fat. So then you have 100 left for your dinner and 25 grams of fat left for your dinner.
Yep.
And then like whatever you pick's probably going to fit within that. You might be a little over, but as long as you're not going out to eat every week, then you're going to be fine.
It's not going to be the end of the world if you go a little bit over that one day of the week or whatever.
But you moderate it by eating less earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And
that's what Aaron does a lot.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. You should see Aaron. He's lost a lot of weight.
Really?
Yeah. I remember talking to him because we would joke about how he was fat, but then like we had like a serious conversation and he was like, do you really think that I'm like fat? And I was like,
You're
Aaron,
like, I know you're fat.
I was like, dude, as somebody that cares about you, you're getting to the place where I will genuinely call you fat.
Yeah.
I will consider you actually fat. Like you were almost there.
Like you can see your belly when you're wearing a shirt.
Yeah. You're round.
Yeah.
You're starting to get round, and he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, man. He's like, well, all right. That's what I wanted to hear. And like that day since, he's just been really good with his diet.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how precise he is with his diet because he hasn't been weighing things.
But he's just cutting back.
But he's been eating a lot healthier, cutting back on what he's eating. And yeah, he'll like, kind of, he does all his macros in his head. He doesn't like write them out. So they're probably a little wonky, but he's a good mathematician. So
if he's not weighing it, then.
Yeah, if he's not weighing it, it's not going to be precision, but he's probably roughly around there. He's doing really good. He lost a lot of weight. It's crazy.
Yeah, that can work for some people. And it just depends. So like if you're just really fat and you want to get like less fat or like just skinny, but you don't really care that you have like a lean, hard physique.
You're not caring for the abs. You're just wanting to get slender.
Yeah. Then you can just cut down portions and avoid things that are higher calorie and just do that for a long time.
Yeah.
And you'll lose weight.
Yeah.
But the way I do things is like you're trying to lose as much body fat as possible without losing any muscle or even building muscle at the same time. So you really got to like keep track of everything, make sure you're getting enough protein every day and make sure you're losing weight at a slow speed. You know what I mean? Because if you just drop from like 3,000 calories a day to 1,000, then you're going to lose fat, muscle, everything. And you'll get skinnier, but your body composition's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
So you look better in a shirt, but you're not going to look better with a shirt off.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. I mean? Yeah. It's true, man. It's true.
Dude, I came up with a religion.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was thinking about it at the gym. I was looking at everyone today. And I was thinking, I was like, we're all the same. You know what I mean?
We are the world.
We are the people. But I've been thinking about that. I always thought about that. Like, everyone is literally the same. We're just born in different bodies. We have different experiences.
Yep.
And that's made us a little bit different as we grow. And we do have different personalities and whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we're all the same and shit. And I'm like, what if, like, so Christians believe that God's in the sky or wherever he is, another dimension. I don't know. And, he created us and
Which is kind of how most religions are. There's a big God, and
he created
us.
He created us perfectly, but then somehow we got fucked up magically, and then he had to make his son die.
Yep.
To save us from those sins that he didn't create.
Yep.
But so I was thinking.
Well, the devil created him.
Yeah, devil. But he created the devil. But he can't be responsible for what that guy does.
But he gave him free will. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's what he did with humans too. That's why we're sinners.
Tricky free will.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't he just be like, you're forgiven? Not be like, I need blood sacrifice.
So yeah, I never understood that part of the Bible.
Blood sacrifice.
You know, I've been going to church, recently, and just like, you know, it's, in my opinion, I like the environment. I like spirituality. I believe in some sort of spirituality. And since I've been raised Christian mostly, I just kind of go that path, you know, but going to church and hearing them talk and hearing what they say, you have to take it with a grain of salt, or else you're just not going to believe in religion at all.
Like, you can't think too logically about it.
Yeah.
You just got to be like, this feels good.
Yeah. There's no actual, like, we went to, I don't even really remember what he said, but we went to church a few weeks ago, and he was relating science with space to the Bible, and like trying to relate those things. And the whole time I was like, this makes no sense at all. But like, I got what he was trying to say, you know, but it was just one of those things where it's like, you have to, like, just take it with a grain of salt, because that person is trying to help you understand what Christianity is and relate it to real world things. But it doesn't always relate to most of the time it doesn't relate. The best thing I could say about Christianity and the Bible itself is that it will teach you good morals. And not all of their morals are correct.
I mean,
but a lot of them are. A lot of them are good.
But aren't morals just morals? You know what I mean? Like, why do you need a religion to tell you about morals?
Well, where are you going to learn them from?
I feel like they're kind of innate.
I mean, you're going to learn them from your parents, really, I feel like.
Yeah. But I mean, once you got the morals, what do you need the religion for after that?
To remember what the morals are?
You remember them.
I don't remember.
You remember not to kill people.
I before E, except or something like that.
Don't kill people before Sunday.
Don't kill people before C.
And don't rape.
Except for in Budweiser,
ever.
Which is IE. Or
so
EI.
My religion is, okay, in the beginning was God. And we are God. So what if God, you know, he made everything like that, magic.
You're like, bam.
Because how other way would he do it? Or maybe he programmed it in like his supercomputer.
Oh my gosh.
But so what if God, so I got like two versions. There's one God, and then there's like a man and woman God, married couple kind of thing.
Okay.
Because I feel like life goes well with your spouse. You know what I mean? Like that's like everyone
that's kind of the point of the Bible.
They kind of find their spouse, and then like
marriage is
you
the
live
ultimate
happily with each other, and you know. So I was thinking like God would be real lonely if he was by himself, and there's always like an equal and opposite to everything.
This
is
true.
There's good and evil.
There's
dark
God
and,
and the devil.
Yeah, there's God and the devil, but I think there's also God man and God woman.
Okay.
And their spouses.
All right.
Because he would be so lonely in eternity
that is
by
true.
himself.
That's true.
You know, without her. So, but what if they got bored because it was just them? You know, them and all things they could magically create.
Yep.
But they didn't have any like other things to experience besides themselves. So they divided themselves up into people.
Ooh.
Like every person is just a piece of God.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And he just made this whole thing where he wanted to experience all these lives.
Yeah.
So like I have like a piece of him, you have a piece of him.
Ooh.
And once we die, like, because time's not linear, right?
Yeah.
So once you die, you go back to the whole thing, and you're like, oh, now you have like another experience. You're like, oh, I experienced that life, and then I experienced that life.
Yeah.
And we are just God experiencing life as like a less powerful being.
Okay.
And just like building and growing. And
that's a pretty interesting.
And then when your soul gets sent back to the whole, it's grown and learned more.
So, and then it's reincarnation after that?
Probably, yeah. Like he just sends another piece of himself. Like each time someone's born, he's just sending another piece of himself.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
And that's why you don't remember being born or dying.
You don't remember being born or dying, but when you go back to the whole, when you're God again, then you remember everything.
That's interesting.
But then you send yourself back and you experience another life.
That's kind of a cool way.
It's kind of reincarnation, but like
yeah.
you're a piece of God instead of a separate soul.
Yeah. They always say like in Christianity that God is everywhere and God is everything.
Yeah.
You know, and God is not a being, which like that's the most interesting thing to me about God is that it's something we can't comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
That's what intrigues me about religion, you know, because I do believe there is something way bigger than us that we have no idea and can't even comprehend. Even if we saw it, we could not comprehend it.
Possibly.
You know? I mean, there's so many things that are so weird. I mean, if you think about, there are certain frequencies we can't hear that dogs can hear.
Yeah, there's other dimensions we can't experience.
There's dimensions, there's multiple.
Because we only have our senses. There could be more senses.
Exactly. We only have
we don't have
5, you know.
Like dogs can't see in color.
Yep.
But we can see in color, but there's colors we can't see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of crap out there.
Yeah, there's only 5 senses we know of. Like, what if we meet aliens and they have a 6th sense that we don't know of,
like
you know?
They see dead people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Weird.
But God could have got tired of like knowing everything and being all powerful. And he's like, you know, because like life's kind of boring when you can just do anything, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he like sent himself into like a limited version.
Limited edition.
It's like a like, I don't know. It's like playing a video game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's playing like a video game.
That's a lot of people's like perspective on life. Like we're living in the Matrix right now. Yeah. You know, a lot of people think that.
We could be.
Which is kind of a cool thing to think about.
Are actually like bigger spiritual beings and we're in the Matrix on purpose because we got tired of.
Yeah.
But we are all separate bigger beings.
I will say one of the other things that I think is cool is that the angels are jealous of humans because they're mortal. And they get to experience mortality and the beauty in mortality. And how like your mentality is differs because you know you'll die one day.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why God got bored. Yeah. And he was like, let me experience it through mortal eyes because he could do whatever he wants.
That's crazy. But I feel like, well, yeah, it would be like he's like a scientist. It's like his project.
But he like exists outside of time.
It's an experiment.
So like
he's just God's experiment.
He's both experiencing life through everyone and not at the same time.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like he's always the whole of himself and he's always experiencing life through human eyes.
That's why he's the father. This
whole experiment, like let's say the Earth is going to be around for like 10 million years with humans on it and then it's going to burn up. So like he experiences all those lives and then he goes back to like his. And
that's what the rapture is.
Yeah.
It takes all his chunks away.
Yeah. He just turns back into himself.
Oh, that's pretty freaking.
And then one day I'll wake up, but also you'll wake up, but we won't even know the difference. It'll just be me. Like, and maybe, but it'll be everyone.
Maybe that's also why he's like so pissed off at the devil because the devil's like tainting parts of him. Yeah. And he's like, that's why the rapture, he'll only take the good ones. And he's like, I won't take the tainted ones.
Yeah, he's getting rid of the crappy parts of himself. He's only taking the ones that pass the test. Yeah. He's trying to become a better person.
He's losing weight this way.
He's like, how do I become a better God? I have to send myself into a mortal body. Yep. Experience a life either tough or easy or fun or crappy or, you know.
Dude, that would be weird. And then he like, the rapture happens and he learned all that stuff. So then like he tries again and just makes us perfect that time. Yeah. He's like, I know where I messed up. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. But I think my religion would be good because if you believe that, then you would believe that we are a piece of the same. Like we are exactly the same. Yeah. So if I kill you, I'm just killing a piece of myself. I'm just hurting a piece of myself. Or maybe that would allow people to think, oh, I'm just killing a piece of myself. So,
oh yeah, psychos would fully be like, well,
like, if everything is me, then fuck it.
Then,
yeah, it could go either way.
That'd be hilarious if they thought that and they're like, well, if I kill myself, then everyone dies. Like, nope, that's not how that works.
Well, then he would wake up back in his God body and be like, oh, I guess that didn't work.
Dang it.
I was stupid in that life.
I've always wondered, like, how hell and how heaven are, you know, Because there's so many, like, you can make up whatever you want about that, really.
I just don't believe that there's a hell. Because I don't believe, unless God is not all loving.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not all loving, then there's a hell.
Yeah.
But if he is all loving, like he says.
I think there's a lot of Christians, there's like a category of Christians that don't believe in hell.
Yeah.
I think so.
That would make the most sense to me because you can't say you're all loving and then torture something. And also if we're like his children, right? Imagine you're going to have your kid.
Yeah.
And then your kid doesn't act exactly how you wanted him to. And he doesn't come ask you for forgiveness.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, well, now I'm going to lock you in a shed and torture you forever.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
That's
like it
true.
doesn't make any sense.
That's true.
Even
man.
if your kid was a serial killer, even if your kid did whatever, you would never torture them forever.
Okay. All right. Hear me out. If your kid was a serial killer, he got sentenced to life in prison. Would you say no?
What?
He's got to go to prison. He's got to go to hell for the rest of his life.
That's the rest of his life. It's not the rest of eternity.
Well,
and that's not torture.
Okay. All right. I see what you're saying.
Because the Bible describes hell as like the worst torture you could ever experience forever.
Internal torture. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if you got to go sit in a prison cell for 100 years after you die, and then you get the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Like that's a cool that's a fine punishment.
Yeah.
100 years out of infinity.
That's true.
That's cool. But infinity of torture?
That is true. Yeah.
I'd be like, can you just turn me off?
And the other thing is that doesn't make sense to me is if God's more powerful than the devil, right? Lucifer was created by God, was a fallen angel. Why doesn't he just get rid of him?
Well, Nick, as a Christian, I'm going to tell you why. Free will. And
yeah, this is the parts of Christianity where I'm
also
like,
good can't exist without evil.
Yeah, that I feel like there's something there because there's something about karma, you know. I feel like there's things that feel like they happened for a reason, you know. And there's days where you like no matter what you do, you're just having a bad day, or days where no matter what you do, you can't go wrong. You know, everybody has good days, everybody has bad days. So the balance of life, I believe there's something like that going on.
I mean, I do think, you know, without sadness, you couldn't experience joy fully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if we just lived in like a monotone, everything's the same,
it's just
always life, then it wouldn't be as interesting.
Just Grey's Anatomy.
So I could see that part. But I'll never wrap my head around an all-loving God torturing you forever.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't really make much sense.
It doesn't. That's the biggest
But he's
part.
not the one torturing you, technically.
Oh, yeah. He just set up a system.
He's just like, well, bye.
No, he is, though, because he said, you know, oh, if you sin, you can't be with me. So why? Well, didn't you make all the rules?
That's why Jesus died, so all we have to do is say sorry and we're in.
Yeah, but it's like a dumb rule too. Like, did you say you believed that I sent my son thousands of years ago to die on the cross? Oh, you didn't say that?
The other thing is like Jesus never sinned, supposedly, right? You don't think there's one person on earth that also didn't sin?
I bet there was a lot of them.
I'm sure there was a lot.
There's tons because infants die all the time.
And that's what is like.
I'm sure there was never a human that didn't do anything that was considered a sin in the Bible.
Yeah, right.
Like, didn't lie, didn't lust, didn't.
It's crazy.
You know, but there was plenty of children.
And another thing is certain, like the 7 deadly sins, pride, lust, you know, like I don't see anything wrong with lust, like absurd amount of lust. Sure. Like,
yeah, like don't be creepy.
Yeah, don't be a freaking
everyone.
Stalker.
It's just part of you.
That's a natural human thing.
Yeah, it's a natural. You gave me testosterone.
Yeah.
And a dick.
And to be prideful isn't always bad.
Yeah.
You know, like there can be bad pride, like blinding pride makes you an idiot, you know, but
the extremes of anything.
Yeah. Like I feel like the 7 deadly sins are just really based on extremes.
Yeah.
Like honestly, greed can be good in certain circumstances.
Greed to a point because, if you were completely not greedy,
Mhm.
you would literally give away everything you ever had. And like, I think as a man, like, you have to be greedy enough to like build a good life for your family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you were completely not greedy at all,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if it's selfless if you're making money for your family, but also like, you know, if anyone was ever in need, you would just give them everything you have.
Yeah. Exactly.
If there was no amount of greed.
Exactly. Like, oh,
You know?
here, homeless guy, have my car.
You have to like have some amount of self-preservation. And,
Yeah, I can't afford another car. Why would I give this guy my car?
But then if he had no greed, he would give it right back. And you also just be sharing a car.
Yeah, I'm just going to give this guy a ride, I guess. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense, but
Religion's a fun thing to talk about. People get so
they get worked up.
Crazy about
and
it.
They will like, the funny thing is, I feel like the worst part of like the religious people is the ones that don't have at all an open mind. Like what we just said makes logical sense.
Yeah.
But they will be like, no, like the Bible says this and that is the fact because it's written in the Bible.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, but we're just thinking about what it says and like how it kind of maybe doesn't make sense. But they're like, no. Like it for sure is fact. Like it makes all the sense.
But it says here in the Bible that you're wrong. So it's like, oh, okay.
You can't use the Bible as your, like you got to use some kind of logical reasoning to like, you know, conversate with me about what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You can't just be like, well, the Bible says in right here. Yeah. Free will.
Well, if you look at this page right here, it says free will and no greed. So you got to give everything away.
Like my mom would always do that. Mm-hmm. Like anytime I would bring up like the torture forever thing or like, you know, God not liking gay people or like whatever. Yeah. She'd always be like, yeah, but the Bible. And I was like, can you just like come up with your own idea and quit quoting the Bible?
Dude. Yeah. It's one of those things, man. I mean, Lael, she has family members that are really, I don't know what category of Christianity this is, but they like are strictly the Bible. Like everything the Bible says goes. Like they go to church on Saturdays because Jesus or God finished on the seventh day, right? He rested on the seventh day.
Like no.
And the seventh day is Saturday of the week.
No interpretation type of thing.
Yeah.
Like exactly what it says.
That is the definition. You know, that's not just, oh, he meant this. Yeah. You know, they're like, that's it.
Like, no, that's what
Which is cool. Like, if you're going to be that way, then be 100% that way.
If you're going to be 100% that way, then I kind of respect you the most because you're not picking
easy.
And choosing. You're just like, that's what it says.
Yeah. That it says right here. So that's what I'm doing.
And that's my rule book.
Yeah.
So.
And they're not like jerks about it or anything. Yeah. Like I met them the other day and they were like, oh, we want you to come to church with us and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm open next Sunday or something. Like, oh, well, we go to church on Saturdays. They weren't like, oh, how dare you go to church on Sunday? You know, they were just like, well, we go to church on Saturdays. That's how we do it. You know, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I noticed the people in my life that are like good Christians. If I tell them I don't believe or whatever, or express my opinion. Yeah. They don't hound me about it. They don't. Yeah. They're just like, okay, whatever.
You're on your own journey. Like,
but then like the more hypocritical ones will be like, oh, you have to go to church and you have to do this.
You know what I've noticed is a lot of Catholics are like that.
Oh, they're like guilt.
And I grew up Catholic and that's, oh my gosh, the Hispanic Catholics are like, I remember going I hadn't gone to church in so long. I was probably 18 years old and Susie was going to her first confirmation, which is like the end of religious education classes. She's in 8th grade. And this lady came up to me, this Hispanic lady, and she's like, oh, it's nice to see you. When's the last time you went to church? And I was like, I don't know. You know, and she's like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, I can't remember the last time I went to church. It was months ago, you know? She's like, when's the last time you confessed? And I was like, when I was in like, I don't know, 8th grade, you know? And she's like, you need to go confess right now. I was like, no. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, he's getting ready to do a sermon and a whole freaking ceremony. I'm not going to be like, hey, I need to confess real quick, Father, you know, like, and also I had nothing to confess. You only confess when you have something to confess. And like people are crazy about that stuff sometimes. And it's insane. Like that's what I think when people say Bible thumper is those people. It's like, why don't you like, how can you praise a God that you believe is this all loving guy, right? Or this all loving being. And you're going to be like that. You're going to force people to do things. Mm-hmm. That doesn't sound all loving to me. Yeah. It sounds like you're a freaking jerk, dude.
Yeah, it's funny. It's always the hypocritical ones, but yeah. All right, guys, we are out of time. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast today. Leave your thoughts in the description or the comments. We have the description. You can't write in the description.
Unless you try.
Leave your thoughts in the comments and hit the like button, subscribe button, maybe share it with a friend who's really religious or not really religious or just your homie.
Yeah.
Or someone that wanted to learn about TRT. Or I don't know why we talked about TRT and religion.
TRT, religion, and sushi.
And sushi. Leave your favorite one in the comments.
Yep.
And we will talk to you next time.
Adios, amigos.